Hare Krishna, Namaste. One may have this question: how can Lord Sri Ramachandra crown Vibheshana in Setu even before getting the bridge constructed across the ocean, even before defeating, killing Ravana? There's no idea how they are going to cross over the ocean, but Vibhishana is already made as the king of Lanka. It's like I don't even have a visa to go to a country, say America, but I'm voting on who should be the president of that country. In Rama's case, it's not a matter of voting. He has decided and he has made Vibhishana as the king of Lanka. How is this possible? We must understand that unlike the other versions of Ramayana, in Valmiki Ramayana, Rama mostly picturized as a human. He himself says that Atmanam Manushyam Manye Ramam Dasarathatmajam. I consider myself as human, son of King Dasaratha. Even though he said that, even though Valmiki tried to keep him as human as much as possible, but at times Rama's supremacy does get exhibited, and this is one of such case where Rama crowned Vibhishana as the king of Lanka even before the bridge was constructed, even before Ravana was killed. In a wonderful work called Ati Manusha Sthavam by Kuratarvan, also known as Kuresh, who lived in 10th century, asked this very same question about the Lord's superhuman acts, and also brings out other beautiful such cases. Abdhimnatirita jikketana rakshasendram naivasa jagneta yatacha bhala bhalam tvam nissamsaye sapatitasya padepya sinchaha tasyanujam katamidam hi vibhishanam cha. Is asking, my dear Lord, how can we understand your superhuman activity of crowning Vibhishana as the king of Lanka on the banks of Setu, even before you had built a dam to cross over to Lanka? You had not even defeated Ravana in battle, and you are not even aware of the strength of Ravana and his army. It is mysterious to understand your statement, Rajanam Tvam Karishyami Satyametat Chunotume. I will make you the king. Hear this truth from me. So this is one of his Ati Manusha activity, superhuman activity, or beyond a normal human activity. Let's see few other superhuman activities that Rama did. Pruchami kinchana yada kila rahavatve maya mrugasya vasago manujatva maugdyat Sita viyoga vivaso nachatat katignyah pradastadha paragatim hi katam kahaya. Here two incidents are mentioned. Is asking Lord Rama that, my dear Rama, I like to ask you something. Kinchana pruchami, about one thing. How can we understand, reconcile the happenings of your avatar that is ununderstandable, not reconcilable? For instance, Lakshmana told you, advised you a lot about the beautiful deer that appeared in front of the ashram, that it was not a real deer. It is a demon. And yet you acted like an ordinary man who's deluded by desire, moha, and ran after it to bring it back as a gift to your beloved Sita. You were overcome by the beauty of that misleading deer and ran after it. Maya mrigasya vasavo manujatva maugdhyat. In another occasion, when Ravana stole Mother Sita and ran off with her, you could not trace the path that Ravana took, and yet you had the power to send Jatayu on the path of moksha. How can we put these puzzle pieces together? It is inconceivable. At one time you say, I am human, Dasaratha's son. Another time you behave as a supreme lord, giving moksha to Jatayu. It is contradicting. It cannot be conceived by an ordinary human mind. Jatayu was not at all qualified. Akshunna yoga patam agreya hatam Jatayum triyanchameva bhata moksha pate niyoktum saknosi vesi cha yada satatha katam tvam devim avaptu manalam vyatitha vichinvan. Jatayu had no familiarity to any of the yoga marga. He is not familiar with karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, which are considered to be the path towards moksha. He never practiced any of these things. He was not born in the jati, in the caste that fit to practice any of these means to attain moksha. He was born as a bird. And thirdly, he was killed by Ravana, son of a Brahmana. The Shastra says one who get killed by a Brahmana cannot gain moksha in that birth. You did not consider any of these three factors. He was not born in a jati where he can practice certain path to attain moksha. He was not familiar with any of this yoga marga. On top of it, he was killed by a Brahmana, a son of a Brahmana, where he cannot attain moksha in that very life. While all these points are there to disqualify Jatayu to attain moksha, you still sent him to Vaikuntha, gave him moksha. That tells very clearly you are Sarveshwara and you do not need any reason to do what you wish to do. No one can stop you. While you granted that impossible moksha to Jatayu, you had difficulty to find a path where Mother Sita was kidnapped, and you were stricken with sorrow. You were miserable over her loss. Lakshmana had to counsel you and console you. What was your mind set at that time? I cannot understand, Rama. Then he goes into another incident where he says, my dear Lord, your act is so very mysterious. Your decision to seek the help and friendship of Sugriva, who is no match for your power and valor. You are Sarva Shaktiman. You are Mahavira. Normally, one seeks the help of someone who is more powerful than him, if at all any help needed. Sugriva nowhere close to you. Where is the question of he being superior to you? In fact, he tested you, your ability, before he got convinced that you can kill Vali. And it is interesting that you abide and proved yourself that you can kill Vali to this Sugriva who doubted your ability. What is the necessity for you to go through all this? What is the necessity that you have to prove someone like Sugriva how great you are? How can I understand your Atimanusha activity? Can you tell me what is the logic behind you seeking Sugriva's help, considering Sugriva to be your master? You hid yourself your supremacy and complete independent nature and acted like an obedient one to Sugriva. We all know that you certainly do not need any help from Sugriva or anyone else. Yet you followed this path. It is very mysterious to me. Sakamragam mragayesma katam sahayam. How can you make friendship with Sugriva? Let me tell you another incident which cannot be done even by the Devatas. That is, building a bridge across the ocean by making the rocks float on the water just by your free will, Sankalpa Shakti. This is certainly beyond the capacity of any human, what you have demonstrated. It reminds me of what Veda says, Vishnuhu karmani pashyatha. The Lord's acts are beyond normal comprehension by humans, and it is totally outside the capacity of even a great assembly of humans. Why did you undertake such an effort when the monkeys were just throwing the rocks on the ocean? You bear them with your sankalpa. How can we understand that act which is beyond the power of humans and devas? Let me ask you another question. When you pray to Samudra Raja, the ocean god, to give way for you and your army to cross over it, he did not respond even after 3 days. You waited for 3 days. He didn't. So you got angry and ready to dry up his water. Then out of fear, Samudra Raja appeared in front of you and begged to be spared. Then you asked him a suggestion where you should release the arrow which is already been loaded. The ocean god begged you to release your arrow somewhere on the northern side, a place called Drumatulya. The ocean god said, there are a lot of thieves who live there and who drink my water. I cannot tolerate their touch on me. Please kill them. This was the request from the ocean god, and you were on the southern side. To fulfill this request, you simply released your arrow and killed all those who lived in that place on the northern side. If that is your power, where you can release your arrow to kill who are living in such a distance without even directly seeing those people, here you're so close to Lanka. Why then you didn't release one small arrow to defeat Ravana and his army? Lanka was not too far from where you are now. You could have reduced to ashes all the Ravana's party, including Ravana, from the bank of Setu. But you choose not to. Why is that, Rama? Tvam dakshinas nivasan udate tadepi durantaro payodi mahantarepe daitya nijaika saraparanayan kimetam lankam sito atra kurushena kilesma bhasma. O Raghuvira, let me ask you about another wondrous act that you performed, which exhibits your compassionate nature, Karunya Guna. Ravana was a Maha Aparadi, a biggest offender, but you, after completely defeating him, made him stand without no weapons, advised him to return back, take some rest, and come next day. Ravana lost his chariot, bow, pride in that day. But your generosity towards him is unbelievable. No one can ever exhibit this nature, supreme nature of yours. it is not comprehensive to human mind at all. My dear Rama, let me tell you how unfortunate person I am. Ha hanta hanta bhavatas charanaravinda dvantam kadhanu vishayi bhavita mamaksnoho yogam nirirgala vinirgala dandakaraihi vrikshai trunai cha sulabham samayam vyatitah. O Ramabhadra, what a misfortune! I was not living at the time of your ascent to Sri Vaikunta. At the end of your avatara at Ayodhya, you took everyone with you, including the plants and trees who doesn't have any knowledge. They are full of ignorance. But you took everyone to Vaikunta. Had I lived at that time, I would have easily reached Vaikunta by your mercy, and that would have put an end to my suffering in the samsara. I lost that golden opportunity. But there is a hope for me that I will not be left alone. I learned that from your another Atimanusha activity by forgiving Kakasura, the crow demon. Yattum kritaha samapi pranati prasaktam tam vasayam paramaya kripaya kshamishtaha tenaiva madrusha janasya mahogasopi yuktum samasvasanamiti pupadharayami. Kakasura, the crow demon, committed an unpardonable, unforgivable apachara, offense to your most dear consort, and you forgave him out of your matchless compassion, karunya. Those who seek refuge at your lotus feet are protected. In my condition, based on whatever I can recollect in this very life, the offenses, the sins that I have committed, I still don't know what all I did in all my previous lives, and I'm sure I have committed great sins, but I am comforted. I'm feeling comfortable that even a mighty sinner like myself can be saved by your infinite grace. We can go on talking about the greatness of Lord Ramachandra, his superhuman acts which does not bound by any rules of this world. No one can perform such acts. No one can question him. He can do anything and everything. For people like us, he is the only shelter. Let's surrender at his lotus feet. Beg to show his grace upon us. Otherwise, by ourselves, can never cross over this material existence. Let's not have any doubt. Doesn't matter how sinful we were in the past. The Lord will accept us if we genuinely surrender at his lotus feet and forgive all our sins, and gives us proper knowledge where we will have no more doubts about him. Jai Shri Ram.